We're here with Murray Sogen. Just won your fight. How did that feel?
Feels good. Feels good. First amateur win. So yeah, feels good.
All right.
I didn't do my game plan. I was a bit disappointed. I'm hungry for a knockout. I've never had a knockout besides in the gym.
Was that your game plan coming up?
That was the game plan. I'm a striker at heart. But
all right. Well,
yeah.
Me and Jason here were ringside watching you go against Tricky Nick Burrito, and those kicks were awesome.
Yes.
Now, do you have a nickname? Do you have a fight nickname?
I've got a couple, apparently. People keep picking them for me, but I haven't
yeah,
decided on one.
we did. Unfortunately, we did. We called you Showtime.
I like Showtime. Showtime's
those
good.
entrances?
I like Samurai, too, though. I like Samurai.
That wasn't us. That wasn't us.
I know. That was my opponent, so...
Okay.
It's
like Showtime Samurai.
Showtime? Yeah, well, I figure I'll just keep fighting and let people nickname me, and then...
Yeah.
Let's see how many I can collect.
All right. We called you Showtime because of the entrances that you do. You like, James Brown.
I can dance, baby.
Dance. Yeah,
I can dance.
We like that. All right.
Yeah. Well, all the greatest strikers in the history of boxing, martial arts, everything. They all have rhythm, right?
We know what they say, right? If you have rhythm, you're good to go.
Muhammad Ali, Anderson Silva,
yeah.
even Mike Tyson. They all have great rhythm. So try to emulate that. I teach that to my students too.
Now, Murray, your first fight was 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, it was for Mike Hamoud, and it was 2004.
Yeah, it was an IFC fight back in North Van years ago,
yeah, a
right?
long time ago, Mickey McDougal Gymnasium. So.
All right.
Yeah.
What made you take a break from that? What happened in that fight?
I was really unhappy with my performance, similar to this one, to be honest with you. I didn't do what I wanted to, but I survived through my opponent just not having the basic technical skills to beat me and out-grapple me. So, but I didn't let my hands go. I was gun-shy. Same with tonight, same sort of thing. I was gun-shy. I want to be a dynamic striker. All my favorite fighters are dynamic strikers, so I want to emulate that.
But if I'm not mistaken, you're a kickboxer at heart. Your base is a kickboxer.
I'm better at striking when I'm not nervous, but the hardest part is controlling my nerves.
Now, is it true you teach kickboxing as well?
That's right, at Elite, yeah.
Where?
At Elite International Martial Arts, which is on Main in North Vancouver. Great gym, great atmosphere, no ego, It's very important to Ali, Master Ali, and Sensei Mehdi, who own Elite. Very important that there's no ego, no meatheads allowed in the gym. Everybody's there has to have a good spirit, generous spirit, hardworking, and that's why I love the gym. Beautiful.
All right, well, let's talk about that. Generous spirit, good spirit. What do you do as a 9 to 5?
I work as a first aid attendant at Capilano University, and I work with kids on weekends, kids with disabilities with the North Shore Disability Resource Center.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to talk about. You were raising funds for that not so long ago.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's important to me that, we're all hardworking guys. Everybody here is working here for an amateur event. The promotion's great. The promoters are great guys. But we're all not fighting for any money, and we're putting it on the line out there. If I had landed that head kick flush against my opponent, he would have been out. Severe, savage knockout, right? He's not getting paid for that. He's not getting paid for that at all. He's just putting his heart in it. And, we deserve money. All these guys deserve money. They're hardworking. They're putting themselves on the line for the crowd. They deserve money for that. And half the reason why it's still, not sanctioned properly is because MMA has a bad rap. And I want to change that.
Well, that's what we work hard to do. I don't know what you know about us, about BCMMAA.com, but that's our #1 goal, is to change the mentality around MMA. And guys like you just make it easier for us because we have people that we can show, look, this guy, he fights on the weekends, but he's got a 9 to 5, he's got a job, he's got family that's around him. And I have a little bit of insider scoop on you, is that I know your sister's boyfriend, Trevor.
Oh, no way. You were the guy who was asking. Oh, okay, sweet. Well, nice to meet you, man. Cheers. Sweet.
So, what's the story there? You don't like to have your family at events?
Not necessarily. I want to make sure that my performances, I'm in control of myself. I don't want to be concerned with, it's my own weaknesses. It's my own weaknesses, but I don't want to be concerned with what the crowd's thinking of me, whatever. I just want to be able to perform, and basically nobody wants to have their failures on air for the people that they love. You don't want to fail in front of everybody who you want to impress. So it's kind of, me working on my own success away from my family so that, even my friends, half the reason why my friends just come is because they force themselves on me. I didn't want them to come either, just because if you have success, it's all your own and you deal with it, but if you have a failure, it's just yourself. Having to tell somebody you lost is a lot easier than having somebody watch you get your butt kicked. And then they go over there and say, you can next time, right? But,
So really the reason is that you want to kind of work your tools and work your way in and not have to worry about who's there watching you before you have them come down. It's not that you don't want them knowing what you're doing or you're hiding it.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to be certain of that I can put on a good show for them. I want to be certain of the fact that...
Can I borrow your bucket?
Absolutely. Next fight? Yeah. Of course.
Give it a second.
Yeah, no worries. This is Mike Hamoud, great guy. Fought for him every time, and he's a good cat. So, man of his word. Puss. So, yeah, no, it's that's all. I was just trying to perfect my performances. So
Staging next fighters, please. Staging next fighters.
All right. So what's next for you?
Well, I'm gonna just keep training hard. I want to keep my conditioning up. I have some guys from Griffin's Boxing, who offered to train with me, so that's gonna improve my cardio something fierce. I need to work on my grappling. I need to work on my striking. I just need to work on my experience. So, yeah, just gonna keep working hard. And
all right. Well, let's be honest here. We saw you fight Tricky, and that was a hell of a fight. It went the distance. You threw some amazing kicks. You were there the whole time, beginning to end. I didn't see you tire out. I didn't see you put your hands down or back out or doubt yourself. You were there. And that's why, I mean, we tried to get an interview with you before the fight, but what kind of state of mind are you in before a fight?
It depends. Haven't fought a lot in a while. These are my first 2 fights in months and months or years, basically. So today I was nervous. I was a lot more on my game for Marinos. Maybe because I hadn't dealt with the realities of hand-to-hand combat in a long time. So it was easy to build myself up. I was quite a bit more self-conscious this time. And, maybe the extra little bit of fear is what drove me to a win, as opposed to with Marinos. But I felt that my performance was a lot more solid. I was more confident with my own abilities against Marinos, even though I lost.
How did you see that fight going down? How did you see that fight?
If I had stuck with my game plan, if I had better cardio, Marinos is a harder worker than me. Him and I train together now. We've talked. He's a great guy. I hope he kicks some butt tonight. I'm pulling for him. Marinos, it's you, buddy. But he's a harder worker than me. But if I had kept my conditioning, if I had stuck to my game plan, which I didn't do again tonight, and I'm sorry, you guys. If I'd stuck to my game plan, I think I would have beat Marinos. I think I have the tools to beat him. But he's a harder worker. He's a bigger guy, stronger. I wrestled with him too much, and it tired my arms out. That's why I had to resort to just kicks. I didn't throw my hands the way I should have. So, yeah, it's basically, I felt that I could have won the fight for sure if I just stuck to my game plan. But that's fighting. Everything's a fight.
Yeah,
everybody's different.
And there's different kind of fighters. I might be wrong, but I put you in the kind of fighters that are emotional, that get in there and leave it all. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely, and that's a detriment to me. I was starting to, when I was under the bottom here in my fight tonight, I was on the bottom fighting for an armbar, fighting for a triangle, and I had to just peek up through the, the armpit and the legs of my opponent, look up at the ring lights and just kind of breathe, breathe. I got to remember, because I get into it passionately, I fight with my heart. I like to trade. I like to put on a good show for the fans. That's what I know what I like to see in fights, and I want to provide that for people that are watching me, right? But it's to my detriment sometimes because it works against my cardio, and I just fight with my heart too much, and suddenly I've got tunnel vision, not listening to my corner, not following my game plan.
Yeah, in this fight, in the first round, you kind of had him in a body triangle, then you transitioned to an actual neck and arm triangle, and you were trying to sink that in the first of the round. Did that tire out your legs? Did that have an impact?
It did. I was pushing for it too hard, so I had to relax. I did relax, but still, going into the second round, my legs were shaky. I wasn't feeling centered, and I wasn't feeling as motivated as I should. I wasn't feeling as present as I should. So it's all about perfecting your performance. You're just really battling with yourself. That's your hardest opponent.
Yeah.
It's controlling your mind.
All right. Now I want to know more about Murray Sogen. How did you get started into this? How old are you, and when did you start?
I've loved martial arts since Bruce Lee, old school kung fu movies, superheroes and comic books. And then when I was a big comic book nerd, Star Wars, all that kind of garbage. Most young guys are, right? And I realized that I want all these people that I emulate, all these fighters and heroes. I want to be like them, and they aren't comic book nerds sitting at home reading comics and doing nothing with their lives. It's hard work. So then I got into martial arts. I got into originally actually WWF wrestling. Was a huge wrestling fan, and then it started to peter out, and the whole it became a lot more exciting to watch UFCs. I used to go watch old school UFCs on VHS from my hometown up, and I got into MMA when you couldn't get it on the internet. I remember I used to have watch stills. I'd pan over big stills on my computer of single fights in Pride with like Gary Goodridge, a single shot, and I'd read the
Big
fight
Daddy.
Finders, and just soak up all the information I could. But you couldn't watch fights on internet back in the day. You could barely get them on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The UFC was under Pride. When Pride and UFC were battling, that's when I got into huge MMA, like 1999, 2000, when Tito Ortiz was big and Sakuraba. And that's how I just love, that's what sunk me in MMA. I started in high school. I started going to a karate class. So I started with Shotokan karate back in the day. 100 Mile House. Sensei Julian Wilsey and his son Peter loved karate back in the day. Old school, Shotokan.
Yeah.
Whoa, big key eyes and stuff. And I thought that, I remembered like, oh, there's UFC, there's multiple arts out there.
Yeah.
Shotokan can't be the only decent art out there, so that's how I started watching the old school UFCs, discovered jiu-jitsu. Marco Huas was probably my first favorite fighter because he was one of the first well-rounded, fully well-rounded fighters. I loved Gracie, and I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I didn't have anywhere to train for years, so that's why my jiu-jitsu kind of sucks, because I developed a lot of bad habits from just reading magazines, not working on the basics of my positioning, going straight for the submission, which is not good fundamentals, right? So, but then...
So you said something about 100 Mile House. Is that where you're from originally?
That's right, that's where I was born.
All right. And out there wasn't much training facilities? Or...
Shotokan karate and Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Yeah.
I would have killed for a wrestling team.
Hand trapping and nice kicks.
Which I love it, like shin kicks with the toes and stuff. I would, and I did it, but I would have killed for a Muay Thai club, a wrestling club, a boxing club, a jiu-jitsu club, judo. I would have gone nuts.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that came from Shotokan and Wing Chun, like GSP is a Shotokan black belt. Wing Chun, I don't have the name in my top of my head, but I know there's some guys that came from Wing Chun that get into MMA.
Well, Bruce Lee, a lot of fundamentals of Jeet Kune Do.
He's the MMA inventor pretty much.
Absolutely, the reintroduction of mixed martial arts in the last 100 years, in the last century, Bruce Lee is
he started off.
Absolutely.
When he put together Jeet Kune Do, that was the whole idea of Jeet Kune Do, is take whatever you can, make it work, and that's the martial art.
And it was supposed to be the end all, it's now, there's still people practicing the original fundamentals of the Jeet Kune Do that he invented in the 60s and 70s, but it's not...
The philosophy behind it wasn't just...
They don't understand.
Katas.
That was the end all be all.
He hated katas. That was his whole problem.
He used to say to hardcore black belts, Wing Chun 10th Dan Masters, all you need is basic. Any guy with basic wrestling and boxing skills is going to destroy any 10th Dan and Kung Fu master, right? So, anyway, fellas, I feel like we're distracting these guys.
Yeah, it was a pleasure doing the interview with you. We've been looking forward to doing this, Murray. We wish you good luck in your career in MMA. Is there any gyms you want to shout out? Anybody you want to sponsors? Anybody you want to shout out to? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I came here to watch you dance tonight, but since you said that you're a wrestling fan and Hogan is my all-time favorite, I want to hear... What you gonna do? You gotta laugh.
Oh, he's hogging up. Come on, let's hear it. USA. I need a chant. USA. What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do? That's all I got, buddy. Hey, how about we turn the camera on you? Like, you guys. Here, let's see it. Let's see it.
You got yourself into that one.
Hey, let's see it. USA.
What you gonna do?
USA.
What you gonna do?
He's hogging up.
When Murray Sogen runs wild on you, brother.
Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me on BCMMAA.com. Cheers. They're good cats, so.